Now on CoastTV News.
Holiday chaos.
I was kind of scared a little.
How fireworks turned celebrations into panic in Ocean City and Bethany Beach.
Milton rentals.
I think you need them.
Why some neighbors say they're tearing communities apart, while others argue they're vital for Milton's economy.
We're concerned about flash flooding as very slow-moving storms continue to slowly march across our area.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
Here's a live look outside at some roads in Sussex County. You can see some flooding on the sides there. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Madeline Overturf has the night off.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. We begin tonight with stormy weather on the coast. Today's heavy rainfall was due to the leftover remnants of a tropical cyclone that continues to prompt concerned flooding across the East Coast. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live in the First Alert Weather Jeep driving throughout Sussex County. Emma, we have some isolated pockets of street flooding.
Charlie, we're driving down Cedar Street here in Lewis and take a look outside. There is some water on the roads. You can see cars kind of splashing over on your left side there, even a cone in the flooding. And these heavy storms that we saw from earlier today are part of that post-tropical cyclone Chantal that was south of us. The big concern is isolated, scattered flash flooding, meaning driving could be tricky, particularly in poorly lit areas. Now, something very important to remember, I was just talking with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams before this, and he reminded me that flooding is the #1 cause of death when it comes to severe weather events. Of course, we're seeing that in Texas right now with the massive flood that has killed around 90 people so far. And later this week, we actually have a piece of that storm headed in our direction. Remember, the best thing to do if you do see puddling on the roads is simply turn around and don't drown. I'm Emma Aiken reporting in our First Alert Weather Jeep.
All right, Emma, thank you. And now we're taking a live look outside into Ocean City. Our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a check on the forecast. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Christina. And the thing that's tricky about flooding is that you'll look at something that looked really mundane, like what you saw in the pictures there, but then the waters come upon you very quickly without you noticing. It's a very subtle and silent kind of a killer that can occur. Now, we actually have active right now flood watch. It is in effect. So we have conditions that are favorable for flooding to occur with little to no notice. So that's what you have to keep in mind. But the good news is we see the remnants of Chantal continue to wind towards the east and falling apart as it begins to move. So when you take a look at our expectation with scattered showers, we have a light rain showers to the north of Milton, another headed towards Lowe's Crossroads. Right now, we're under a flood watch. Once again, that's until 10 o'clock for tonight, and it may expire before 10 o'clock, to be quite honest, because the storm is actually winding down even faster than expected. And we have flash flood watch concerns for us in Dorchester, Somerset, and Wacomico, but we also have heat concerns there as well. Winds are picking up momentum as well off of the coast for us, not only with just Sussex County, but also for us from Ocean City down towards Chincoteague. And the leftover remnants of the rain is now falling apart quickly as it moves out of our vicinity. Christina, coming up, we're going to be talking about more rain that's going to be on the way after a really hot and steamy Tuesday.
Got it. Thank you, Paul. Well, over the holiday weekend, some scary moments in both Ocean City and Bethany Beach as fireworks were fired into crowds of people. Now the Ocean City Council has released a statement. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay is live in Ocean City. Kevin, what is the town saying today?
Christina, it was specifically teenagers that were causing all of this trouble. Now here's a frightful look at what happened and people's reactions from today. It should have been a fun night, fireworks exploding in the sky in Ocean City. Instead, families recording lifelong memories with their children turned to terror. An all-out sprint. A horde of people fleeing after fireworks were shot into a crowd, some mistaking that for gunfire, fear gripping thousands. Rory Bailey, who works on the boardwalk, saw the reaction.
But the first thing I saw was a bunch of people running, so I just turned back and went back inside. I just thought the worst. I was kind of scared a little.
Despite witness accounts, the Ocean City Police Department says there were no guns. It was in fact fireworks that fired into the crowd. And several arrests have already been made. Longtime visitor Greg Patson says it just ruined the night for thousands.
Disappointing. Such a beautiful day and beautiful event that a few bad apples can ruin it for a lot of people.
The Ocean City Council released a statement on Monday saying social media drew large crowds of teenagers, some juveniles, who appeared to come with the sole intent of causing disruption and chaos. And Ocean City wasn't the only town where revelers were unruly. In Bethany Beach, someone was shooting fireworks at people near the boardwalk as they walked by. You can see right here where one of the fireworks hit the dunes. Police have not made an arrest in this case. Visitor Robert Dragonette hasn't seen anything like this before in Bethany Beach.
So hopefully it's a one-time incident and we don't have anything like this again.
Despite a scary night, Bailey hasn't changed his view of the coast.
I don't feel unsafe in Ocean City.
Still, the fear created by launching fireworks into a crowd could have been dangerous or deadly on a night that was supposed to be a celebration of our nation. Now, people are currently split on the safety in town, with some saying that it's just a few bad eggs, while others say they feel more unsafe now compared to the past. I'm Kevin Zapay, live in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
And fireworks were not the only crime in Ocean City this weekend. Just before 1 a.m. on July 5th, also a shooting at the intersection of 28th Street and Philadelphia Avenue. Police say they found an 18-year-old there with a gunshot wound to his arm. He was taken to the hospital, and they say he is expected to recover but has been uncooperative with the ongoing investigation.
Well, this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what concerns you most about recent boardwalk incidents.
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. You can see 6% say fireworks misuse, 14% say lack of security, 74% say rowdy crowds, 6% not too worried about anything.
And if you have a vote, go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. We will show you updated results on Coast TV News at 11. Milton Town Council wants the Planning and Zoning Commission to get involved in regulating short-term rentals to see if any additional rules need to be added. Last month, the town put stricter regulations on short-term rentals. That's anything rented for 30 days or less. The town added licensing restrictions and occupancy limitations. Some people say harsher rules are needed.
I don't think they should be allowed there. But there's lots of other places that they can go in Milton without being doing damage to residential neighborhoods where you're not going to know your neighbors.
The Milton Town Council will meet at 6:30 and could vote on this issue. Rehoboth Beach City Manager Taylor Tedder announced this morning that the Grove Park Canal dock has been given the green light to safely reopen. Before that, repairs will need to be made, like putting down mats to improve ADA accessibility and fixing the lock on the dock's gate. But Tedder says these fixes should amount to only about $1,000. The dock will be reevaluated every 30 days to make sure it's working safe still.
Opposition to offshore wind could take center stage at a meeting in Ocean City tonight. According to the agenda, the city manager and Worcester County Director of Tourism and Economic Development, they'll present on what's titled a offshore wind opposition campaign. This comes only a few days after a lawsuit against U.S. Wind's plans for an offshore wind farm in Ocean City was able to move forward. Ocean City's council meeting is currently happening. It started at 6.
New tonight, voters in Rehoboth should keep in mind that this Thursday, July 10th, that is the deadline to register to vote in the city municipal election. 4 candidates are running for 2 open seats on the Board of Commissioners. In-person voting will take place on August 9th. And to see a list of the candidates and their other important dates, check out coasttv.com.
DNREC is eliminating the need for visitors to make reservations for surf fishing at certain drive-on beaches. That's starting Saturday, July 12th. Beaches at Delaware Seashore State Park, Fenwick Island State Park, and Beach Plum Island are all included in the list. The specific places were chosen because DNREC says they've not reached capacity on weekends this summer. And we are just getting started.
The Nationals clean house amid their latest losing streak. More on Washington's firing of its manager and GM.
This will be a wet with a slow-moving shower kind of a forecast week. I'll show you what to expect over the next few days and what I'm tracking.
But first, policy updates at the Millville Volunteer Fire Company. What's been done since a hate crime was made public. That story when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
The Millville Volunteer Fire Company has made changes to its policies and offered some new training. This comes after police say 2 former volunteer firefighters, Jay Droney and Jordan Hastings, chased a paid employee with a rope tied into a noose.
Coast TV reporter Zakiya Jennings shows us some of those new policies.
Gary Canitis with the Millville Volunteer Fire Company says changes were made immediately after the victim came forward.
We consulted with a number of different organizations to help us reform our policies.
Canitis could not show the training, but says
we've done harassment and discrimination, and then we did sexual harassment, two separate modules that they went through. Each one of those modules walks them through identifying what is harassing or discriminatory behavior. It walks them through what they should do when they find it.
This timeline provided by Canitis shows what led to these updated policies. On April 9th, allegations came to light and the Millville Volunteer Fire Company launched an investigation. On April 10th, Droney and Hastings had their memberships permanently revoked. On April 18th, the fire company offered new anti-harassment and anti-discrimination training. On May 6th, changes were made to the company bylaws and policies. On May 7th, sexual harassment training was offered. According to Canitis, by June 1st, 100% of the career staff and 2/3 of the volunteer members completed training. Canitis says the swift changes were made in hopes of avoiding a similar situation from happening in the future.
Public trust is a huge part of what we do. I mean, you have to know that when you have an emergency, we're coming. And you have to know that we're going to treat every single person that needs our services with absolute urgency and respect.
He says 2 new changes are key to handling these issues swiftly.
One is giving the board the latitude to work a little bit faster for particularly egregious incidents. And then 2, giving people more avenues and mechanisms to report when they see any sort of discriminatory or harassing behavior.
Canitis says the fire company will push forward after some reputation damage by remaining who they have always been, public servants. In Millville, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
Here's a look at your Gulf forecast. Listen, tomorrow's going to be hot and humid. We have a heat advisory for tomorrow, so I'm calling it fair, but listen, it's going to feel like 105 degrees on the course. We're overcast for right now, and the rain is beginning to wind down, so that's a bit of a good thing for us. But even as we get a break tomorrow, although it's going to be hot as crazy hot rather, we still have more rain to be concerned with down the road. We'll show you all that coming up in a moment. So in Lewis, we have overcast conditions. Winds are relatively light, and we're staying sane for right now. We're at 89 for the high in Georgetown. 84 was the high actually in Cambridge. 86 the high temperature today in Easton. What we have right now is the last remnants of the rain and Chantal moving out of the way and no longer vying to give us any difficulty. Flood watch is in effect for all of Sussex, but I'm suspecting that this is going to be allowed to expire before the 10 o'clock deadline, because it was also in effect for us in Dorchester, Somerset, and Wacomico, as well as throughout the entire Delmarva Peninsula. But now our concern is going to be the heat advisory. That's what all this orange is about. So we're switching from concerns for flooding immediately over to concerns for heat advisory. We're talking about 105 heat index, and that's enough to make it more than just slightly muggy for all of Tuesday. Small craft advisory also in effect off of the coast with 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We're expecting it to stay a bit vibrant at least until, like, say, midnight to 1 o'clock this morning. So this is the remnants of Chantal moving out of the way and falling apart very quickly, and that's what we want, okay? I have no nostalgic feelings about this system as it moves off. And so it's going to quiet things down. But in its wake, it dropped, over 1.5 inches of rain for us in Ellendale, or over an inch in Georgetown, just shy of an inch in Stokely as well as Seaford, and just over 1/2 inch of Prime Hook as well as Greenwood. Now, over in Cambridge, we had over 2 inches of rain that fell there, an inch at least for us in Georgetown. And then, you see some of the other numbers. So once again, very isolated with this, nothing that was very consistent. But as you take a look at our rainfall update, for the month, we're only about, let's say, 7/100ths of an inch beyond our normal rainfall total. But for the year, we're still just shy of 1.5 inches beyond our normal numbers. We're at 79 degrees in Long Neck, Millsboro, Dagsboro, Georgetown, and in Laurel. For tomorrow, we're looking for 94 to 93 degrees throughout all of Sussex. Same holds true for us, 92 in Cambridge, for example, 93 in Vienna. And we are expecting a high of 93 in Berlin and Snow Hill, 91 for the high in Ocean City. Keeping a close eye on our air quality because we're, moderate amount there. Tuesday morning, we're clear. Tuesday afternoon, we are hot with the winds out of the south and a quick developing spot shower flare up for us. And the heat index is going to climb to triple digits for Tuesday. Then the rain kicks back in because take a look at this. By Tuesday evening, we see this stack of rain that's sliding through for the late night hours. And then we brace for several cycles of rain after that. Finally, here's a look at the extended forecast. And now once that first wave pushes through late Tuesday going to Wednesday, we have several more waves, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. And all of that is connected to the same system that's sliding from Texas towards us.
Thank you, Paul. Over 300 lifeguards coming to Rehoboth this Wednesday, July 9th for the 2025 United States Life-Saving Association's Mid-Atlantic Regional Championships. It just rolls off the tongue there, guys. The competition begins at 8 a.m. on Baltimore Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. Athletes competing to win a spot at the Life Saving Association's national competition in California this August. Now, for more on this competition, check out CoastTV.com.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
The regime that brought the Nationals their first world title in franchise history is no more. Washington has fired both manager Davey Martinez and GM Mike Rizzo. The decision comes after Washington was swept by the Red Sox over the weekend, dropping the Nats to the second worst record in the National League. Washington had a winning percentage below 45% in Davey's 8 seasons at the helm. Rizzo had been with the franchise since 2007. He's responsible for All-Stars James Wood and Mackenzie Gore, 2 of the returns in the Juan Soto deal. Still, Washington hasn't finished above 4th in the NL East since 2019. The Phillies are the only one of the local favorites in action tonight. Philadelphia begins a 6-game West Coast trip before the All-Star break. The Titans play the Giants tonight at 9:45. Philly begins play today with a 1.5-game lead on the Mets in the NL East. And lastly, we've got some Summer League basketball coming your way tonight. 3 games starting right now and heading all the way up until our final tip-off at 8:15. Summer's winding down. The championship's just a couple of weeks away, so make sure you tune in and catch the action this evening. That over sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Soaring Over the Shore is sponsored by Morse Roofing and Siding.
Can you hear the music? For decades, the bandstand has been the hub for arts and music here in the nation's summer capital and continues to do so. Sitting smack dab in the middle of Rehoboth Avenue, the Rehoboth Beach Bandstand has been the place for free music and entertainment in town. Each year, over 40 bands bring beautiful melodies to this open-air concert venue, with the salt air from the nearby Atlantic Ocean just adding to the ambiance. First conceptualized by the Hayes family in 1963 as a way to bring music to the beach town, concerts went from on the green, literally, to a full-scale bandstand, bringing acts like the USO Show Troupe to make Rehoboth sing. An iconic sight for those who frequent the town year-round, and an iconic sound as summer sweetly sinks in. The bandstand is a beloved part of Rehoboth Beach, always.
Our dry tech camera, we're at 80 degrees in Ocean City. Will drop down to 78 by 10 o'clock, partly cloudy skies. Flood watch is in effect for all inland areas for right now. I suspect it's going to be allowed to expire probably before the 10 o'clock expiration expectation. Say that 3 times. Umbrella giveaway winner is Norma Brent of Rehoboth. Congratulations. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks so much for joining us for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.